round about where unemployment is now, and about, I think that's in terms
Do you trust the numbers though, Andrew?
of, that's in terms of
Do you
the
trust the unemployment
unemployment rate.
numbers?
But we've got another issue in the labour market at the moment, which is workers who are not declaring themselves as unemployed. So they're not saying they're looking for a job, but they seem to have withdrawn from the labour force. And some of them, and that's partly for health grounds, and this is partly what the government is trying to address through its welfare reform policy. But I don't think the policy has been thought through well enough. It suddenly appeared like a rabbit out of a hat, which is always a dangerous thing when government policies emerge in that way.
So if you were to sort of put your MPC hat back on momentarily, we've heard a lot from the bank about this sort of gradual and careful approach to easing that they like to harp on about. Is that something that and markets incidentally have sort of taken that to be one 25 basis point cut every quarter? Is that sort of broadly where you would be, or would you be on the sort of more hawkish side than that?
I would be slightly more hawkish than that, because I think this 1%, this 1 quarter cut per quarter is actually quite a quick way of reducing interest rates when they're sort of at the low levels that we've got. That would take you down over a year from where we are now to 3.5%. 3.5% historically, outside of this very unusual period after the financial crisis. 3.5% is about as low as it gets in the UK. I think the MPC reduced to something around that level after 9/11 because of the shock of 9/11, but it didn't stay very long. So I think I would be more of the sort of school of thought to say, let's really edge rates down very carefully. When they say careful and cautious, actually to mean it, not to have some sort of program and say, oh, well, we're going to cut them by a quarter point every quarter. That's a bit too cavalier for me. And actually, I do give my views on interest rates every meeting, and as a member of the Times Shadow Monetary Policy Committee. It doesn't get the coverage I think it deserves. There's a couple of other ex-MPC members on there, and some other very interesting economists on there. And recently, I voted for one cut in the recent times, but mostly I've been voting for hold.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Sorry, mate. I was going to say it does feel very much got a sort of an autopilot approach from the bank at the moment. And if we were to get a couple of upside inflation surprises, you feel that markets would probably be quite surprised if at the moment we're sort of all looking at the May meeting and going, well, they'll probably cut again. And actually, it would be quite a surprise if they didn't, even if the data warranted a hold in sort of 6 weeks' time.